Life, in its purest form, is a journey, a magnificent tapestry woven with threads of experience, connection, and relentless striving. We build, we love, we strive for meaning, for peace, for a quiet sense of accomplishment. We seek to leave our mark, to live a life of purpose and gentle dignity. Yet sometimes, without warning, the path ahead darkens, a subtle chill descends, and shadows emerge, not cast by circumstance or fate, but by the deliberate actions of others. Have you ever felt it? That quiet unease, that nagging suspicion that something is amiss. Perhaps a once trusted confidant now seems distant, their words carrying a faint sting. Or a professional opportunity mysteriously vanishes, leaving you bewildered and frustrated. Maybe you simply feel an inexplicable drain on your spirit, a slow erosion of your joy, and you can't quite pinpoint the source. These aren't just random misfortunes, my friends. They are often the calculated, insidious maneuvers of individuals who, for reasons we may never fully grasp, seek to dismantle the very foundations of your well-being. They move with subtle intent, their true motives hidden behind smiles, behind seemingly innocuous words, behind a facade of concern or even friendship. It's a sobering thought, isn't it? To consider that some individuals actively work to diminish you, to shatter your tranquility, to block your path forward. But understanding these dark arts isn't about fostering paranoia. It's about cultivating wisdom and fortitude, the bedrock of a truly resilient spirit. It's about recognizing the wolves in sheep's clothing, not to engage in their battles, but to safeguard your inner peace. This isn't about fear, it's about empowerment. It's about building an unshakable inner citadel, a sanctuary for your mind and spirit that no external force can penetrate. Are you ready to discern these hidden dangers and fortify your defenses? Welcome, my friends, to a conversation that may feel uncomfortable, perhaps even unsettling, yet is profoundly necessary for your peace of mind and flourishing. We live in a world brimming with both incredible light and daunting shadow, and within those shadows, some choose to operate with an intent that is, quite simply, destructive. They don't merely dislike you, they actively work to diminish you, to shatter your tranquility, to block your path. The insidious truth is, these architects of downfall often wear the masks of trust, a friend, a family member, a colleague. They've studied your vulnerabilities, learned your patterns, and like a skilled strategist, they launch a campaign designed to erode you piece by piece. They target your most precious assets, your reputation, the very fabric of how others perceive you, your relationships, the vital human connections that sustain you, your self-belief, the core confidence that drives your actions, your opportunities, the pathways to your aspirations, and even your vital energy, the life force that fuels your days. Most importantly, they exploit a fundamental human vulnerability, our innate desire to trust and to connect. When we extend our hand in good faith, they see an opening to exploit. Today, we delve into the heart of this profound challenge, armed with the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. This ancient philosophy, practiced by great minds like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius, offers not just solace, but practical, actionable insights for navigating life's most difficult interpersonal challenges. It teaches us to distinguish between what is within our control and what is not, to cultivate an inner resilience that allows us to stand firm amidst external storms. In this video, we will illuminate 8 distinct ways people attempt to ruin you. This isn't to instill fear, but to empower you with clarity, discernment, and the inner strength to safeguard your serenity and your purpose. By understanding these tactics, you gain the upper hand, not to retaliate, but to protect. You'll learn how to recognize the subtle warning signs before significant damage has been done, how to guard your valuable emotional and mental resources, and how to maintain your inner equilibrium, regardless of the chaos others might try to inflict. This information is absolutely crucial for protecting yourself and your future, for ensuring your mind remains strong, peaceful, and capable of finding joy and happiness, even amidst adversity. If you find this conversation resonates deeply, if you seek to fortify your spirit and live a life unburdened by the malicious intentions of others, then I urge you to take a moment right now. Subscribe to the Stoic Philosophy channel. Join our growing community dedicated to cultivating a resilient mind, finding profound peace, and embracing a life of authentic happiness through timeless wisdom. Your journey to inner strength begins here, and we're committed to providing you with the tools for every step of the way. The challenge before us is multifaceted, often subtle and frequently unseen until significant damage has already been done. Imagine standing on what you believe to be solid ground, only to feel it slowly, almost imperceptibly, shifting beneath your feet. This is the insidious nature of the attacks we are discussing. These destructive individuals aren't always loud, overtly hostile, or confrontational. Their tactics are often quiet, precise, and insidious, like a slow-acting poison designed to dismantle your life from the inside out. They operate in the shadows, leveraging their understanding of human psychology to exploit your inherent trust and vulnerabilities. Consider the metaphor of a meticulously crafted ship designed to navigate the seas of life. Your reputation is its hull, protecting its integrity. Your relationships are the sails and rigging, providing momentum and direction. Your self-belief is the rudder, guiding your course. Your opportunities are the favorable winds that propel you forward, and your vital energy is the fuel that keeps the engine running. When someone seeks to ruin you, they don't launch a frontal assault that you can easily defend against. Instead, they become saboteurs, quietly boring holes in your hull, fraying your ropes, jamming your rudder, diverting the winds, and siphoning your fuel. The insidious nature of this problem lies in its subtlety. Most victims don't even realize they're under attack until significant damage has already accumulated. It's like a persistent, unseen current dragging you away from your desired shore, leaving you disoriented and adrift. You might attribute your growing anxieties to stress, your strained relationships to misunderstandings, or your missed opportunities to bad luck. But beneath the surface, a deliberate campaign is often at play. The architects of your downfall rely on your unawareness, your good nature, and your natural inclination to give others the benefit of the doubt. They thrive in ambiguity, making their actions appear accidental, well-intentioned, or even a direct consequence of your own flaws. This is where the profound wisdom of Stoicism becomes not just relevant, but absolutely vital. The Stoics taught us to distinguish with crystal clarity between what is within our control and what is not. While we cannot control the malevolent intentions of others, we absolutely can control our perception, our reactions, our judgments, and our preparation. The problem isn't that these destructive forces exist in the world. That is an external reality we cannot change. The true problem arises when we remain unaware, unarmed, and unprepared for their subtle assaults. When we allow external negativity to penetrate our inner sanctuary, our inner citadel, as Marcus Aurelius called it. Think of it as a virus. You can't prevent viruses from existing, but you can build up your immune system, recognize the symptoms, and take proactive measures to protect your health. Similarly, in the realm of human interaction, we cannot eliminate toxic individuals, but we can develop a robust psychological immune system. We can learn to spot the early warning signs, to discern the hidden motives, and to fortify our mental and emotional defenses. This isn't about fostering suspicion in every interaction, but about cultivating a healthy discernment, a calm vigilance that allows you to navigate the complexities of human nature with wisdom rather than naivete. This video is your guide, a map to navigate these treacherous waters. It's a call to proactive awareness, to sharpen your discernment so that you can recognize the manipulative behaviors before they cause serious harm. By understanding the tactics of these destroyers, you equip yourself not just to survive, but to thrive, protecting your most valuable assets and preserving your inner peace. Pay close attention, for each insight builds upon the last, fortifying your defenses and empowering you to maintain your inner citadel amidst life's inevitable storms. This journey towards awareness is your first, most crucial step in reclaiming your power and safeguarding your future. Unveiling the Architects of Ruin, 8 Insidious Tactics. Now we step into the heart of the matter, peeling back the layers to expose the insidious tactics employed by those who seek to undermine your life. This isn't just theory, it's a profound look into the manipulative behaviors that often subtly chip away at your well-being, your relationships, and your very sense of self. Each tactic is a different facet of a larger destructive agenda designed to destabilize you and redirect your life's course. Understanding these specific maneuvers is your most powerful defense. It allows you to shift from a state of reactive confusion to proactive awareness, to recognize the warning signs, and to fortify your inner defenses. We will explore 8 distinct methods, each more cunning than the last, employed by individuals who, for their own reasons, choose to operate from a place of malice or profound insecurity. As we uncover these patterns, you may find moments of startling recognition, instances where past experiences suddenly make unsettling sense. This is not to dwell on past pains, but to gain clarity and prevent future harm. Remember, the Stoics taught us that true freedom comes from within, from our ability to control our judgments and responses, regardless of external circumstances. By recognizing these external threats, you strengthen your internal capacity to remain unperturbed, to protect your peace, and to ensure that your journey continues on your chosen path, not one dictated by another's ill intent. Let us begin this crucial exploration. Chapter 1. The Reputation Assassin, Poisoning the Well of Public Opinion. Picture this, a seemingly innocent comment, a whispered concern, carefully placed into the ears of those who matter. It's not a direct accusation, but a subtle suggestion, a tiny seed of doubt planted in the fertile ground of gossip. Did you notice how your name seemed a bit scattered in that meeting? Or, I'm just a little worried about your name lately. They seem overwhelmed. This, my friends, is the chilling work of the reputation assassin. They understand that your reputation is more than just how people see you. It's the very currency of trust, the invisible scaffold upon which your career, your relationships, and your standing in the community are built. It's the unspoken agreement that allows you to move freely, to be believed, to be given opportunities. These individuals are master illusionists, making their attacks appear as genuine concern or accidental slips of the tongue. But behind the mask lies a meticulously calculated strategy. They don't unleash one grand, easily refutable lie. Instead, they scatter 1,000 tiny fragments of doubt, each seemingly harmless on its own, like microscopic shards of glass. Yet, together, they create a fractured, distorted portrait of you as someone unstable, unreliable, or perhaps even unethical. They leverage every available platform, from casual office chatter to the far-reaching echo chambers of social media. They might discreetly screenshot your posts and send them to others with their own twisted commentary, turning your authentic expressions into something insidious. They could unearth old photos taken in moments of youthful indiscretion and subtly use them to cast shadows on your present professionalism or character. The internet, as we know, never forgets, and they are keenly aware of its permanence as a weapon. The psychological toll of such an assault is profound, cutting deeper than most realize. When you sense that whispers are trailing you, that your character is being subtly questioned behind your back, it changes everything. You begin to second-guess yourself in meetings, wondering if every word you utter is being scrutinized. You might find yourself searching for hidden meanings in casual glances or hushed conversations. This pervasive doubt leads to a crippling self-consciousness, causing you to withdraw, to isolate yourself, because the very ground of trust feels unstable beneath your feet. This feeling of paranoia and isolation is precisely what the reputation assassin wants to cultivate. They aim to erode your confidence in others, and ultimately, your confidence in yourself, rendering you easier to control and manipulate. Consider the story of a seasoned professional. Let's call her Amelia. She was known for her integrity and meticulous work. A new colleague, envious of Amelia's rapid ascent, began a quiet campaign. He wouldn't lie outright. Instead, he'd casually mention to their shared manager, "Amelia seems a bit distracted lately, almost like she's got too much on her mind." To other team members, he'd remark, "I hope Amelia's not burning out. She looks a little overwhelmed." Within months, the manager, unconsciously swayed by these subtle hints, started assigning Amelia less critical projects. Her teammates, picking up on the shift, began excluding her from informal yet important brainstorming sessions. Amelia, feeling increasingly sidelined and unsure why, started doubting her own capabilities, spiraling into a cycle of anxiety and underperformance, precisely the outcome her envious colleague desired. This subtle strategic undermining is a powerful weapon. As Seneca might advise, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Yet, in this case, the imagined whispers often become very real consequences, leading to lost promotions, strained professional ties, and a pervasive sense of mistrust that can shadow your every step. Chapter 2. The Relationship Saboteur, Dismantling Your Circle of Trust. Imagine a master puppeteer hidden in the shadows, subtly pulling strings that connect you to your most cherished loved ones. This, my friends, is the chilling work of the relationship saboteur. There's a particular agonizing sting when someone you care about deeply, a best friend, a family member, a romantic partner, begins to drift away, their warmth replaced by a baffling coolness, and you can't quite pinpoint the reason why. You search your memory for a misstep, a conflict, anything that might explain the sudden distance, but find nothing concrete. What you might not realize is that someone has been diligently working behind the scenes, carefully poisoning these vital connections like a skilled chemist mixing deadly compounds. The saboteur doesn't openly declare war on your connections. That would be too obvious, too easily exposed. Instead, they plant tiny, insidious seeds of suspicion and doubt, watering them with carefully crafted whispers and watching them grow into full-blown suspicion and mistrust. They might tell your sister that you seem jealous of her new job, subtly implying you begrudge her success. They'll mention to your partner that you were seen flirting a little too much at a party, twisting an innocent interaction into a betrayal. They might suggest to your best friend that you've been talking about them behind their back, without providing any concrete examples, letting the void fill with fear. Their perverse genius lies in their presentation. They appear as concerned confidants, as voices of reason, sharing information only because they care about you or because they're worried. They might say, "I'm worried about John lately, he seems off," or "I think Jane might be going through something difficult. She said something odd about you." So they skillfully position themselves as the caring friend who just wants to help, while subtly, expertly suggesting that you are the problem, the source of distress. This creates a disarming effect, making their insidious comments harder to detect and deflect. The isolation process happens gradually, like a slow-acting poison. First, they create small, seemingly insignificant conflicts between you and the people you care about. They'll tell your friend that you criticized their new haircut, or inform your partner that you complained about their cooking. These aren't huge fights, just little tensions that accumulate, creating micro-fractures in your relationships. As these small conflicts multiply and remain unresolved due to the unseen manipulation, your relationships become strained, uncomfortable, and eventually distant. Consider the heartbreaking story of Marcus and his brother Leo. Marcus had always been close to his family, especially his mother. Their cousin, a deeply insecure individual, grew envious of this bond. She began making subtle comments to Marcus's mother. "Marcus seems so busy with his new life. I wonder if he still has time for family." To Marcus's other siblings, she'd lament, "I feel like Marcus only shows up when he needs something." Over time, Marcus noticed his mother became subtly critical, questioning his choices while his siblings seemed to keep him at arm's length. He was bewildered. The cousin, meanwhile, became the family's go-to person, always available, always listening, effectively replacing Marcus in his own family circle. The most insidious part is how these saboteurs create drama triangles. They'll tell person A that person B said something negative about them, then tell person B that person A is upset with them, all while positioning themselves as the innocent messenger, just trying to help. They sit back and watch as the people you care about start fighting with each other or withdrawing from you, all while believing the saboteur is just trying to keep everyone informed and facilitate peace. They are experts at exploiting existing tensions in your relationships, taking minor disagreements and amplifying them into relationship-ending crises. The phrases they use are carefully chosen to sound innocent while being incredibly damaging. "I probably shouldn't tell you this, but," or "I'm only mentioning this because I care about you." These phrases disarm you, making them sound like reluctant messengers, sharing painful truths out of love. This systematic dismantling of your support system leaves you isolated, vulnerable, and bereft of the very human connections that provide strength, comfort, and a sense of belonging. As Epictetus reminded us, no man is free who is not master of himself. Protecting these vital bonds requires mastery over external influences and a keen eye for deceit. Chapter 3. The Confidence Crusher. Eroding your self-belief. Consider your self-belief as an inner fortress, meticulously built brick by brick through experiences, accomplishments, and the affirmation of others. This fortress protects your spirit, allowing you to face challenges with courage and pursue your goals with conviction. The confidence crusher is a skilled sapper, meticulously tunneling beneath its walls, not with explosive force, but with precise, targeted strikes. Their weapon isn't overt insults or direct criticism. That would be too easy to spot and defend against. Instead, they use precision strikes that leave you questioning your own judgment, your own memory, and ultimately, your own intrinsic worth. Here's what makes this tactic so devastatingly effective. They disguise their attacks as help, as concern, or even as constructive feedback. When they see you feeling proud of an accomplishment, they'll interject with something like, "That's great, but don't you think you could have done even better if you'd really pushed yourself?" The subtle implication is that your effort wasn't enough. Your achievement wasn't truly earned. When you make a decision you feel good about, they'll respond with, "Are you sure about that? It seems a bit risky to me. Have you thought of all the downsides?" They never directly tell you that you're wrong or incompetent. Instead, they plant questions, tiny seeds of doubt in your mind that make you second-guess yourself, eroding your certainty from within. Their most powerful and insidious weapon is gaslighting. They'll contradict things you clearly remember happening, then act genuinely confused or even offended when you insist on your version of events. They'll say things like, "I don't recall it that way at all. Are you sure that's what happened?" Or, "You're imagining things. I never said that." They'll claim you said things you never said, or deny saying things they clearly uttered. Over time, this relentless assault on your perception makes you question your own memory, your own sanity, and your very grip on reality. You begin to mistrust your own senses, leading to profound confusion and a weakening of your mental faculties. Consider the story of Elena, a talented graphic designer. Her colleague, Mark, would consistently make comments about her work in a meeting like, "Elena's design is interesting, but I wonder if it fully addresses the client's unspoken needs." Or if she expressed excitement about a new idea, he'd sigh and say, "That's very creative, Elena, but perhaps we should run it by someone with more practical experience first." He never directly stated her ideas were bad, but he consistently planted seeds of doubt about her competence and the practicality of her vision. Within a year, Elena, once a vibrant contributor, became hesitant, quiet, and stopped bringing new ideas to meetings altogether. She had lost confidence in her own judgment and started believing she wasn't smart or experienced enough to add value. The confidence crusher also expertly exploits your past failures and mistakes. They'll bring up times when you were wrong or made poor decisions, but they'll frame it as learning experiences or growth opportunities. They'll say, "Remember when you thought that investment was a good idea? This is a bit like that, isn't it?" They're not directly insulting you. They're just constantly subtly reminding you of your worst moments, keeping them fresh in your mind. They are also masters of the backhanded compliment, delivering praise that carries a hidden sting. "You're so brave for trying that, even though it's probably too difficult for someone like you," or "I admire how you don't let your limitations hold you back." These comments sound supportive on the surface, but they are actually reinforcing negative beliefs about your capabilities, creating a subtle psychological wound. This psychological warfare doesn't stop there. They'll consistently undermine your achievements by attributing them to luck, the help of others, or easy circumstances. When you get a promotion, they'll say, "You were really lucky that position opened up exactly when it did, weren't you?" When you succeed at something challenging, they'll immediately mention how much help you received from others, minimizing your effort and skill. They ensure you never truly feel proud of your accomplishments, stealing your joy and sense of self-worth. What's particularly cruel is how they exploit your existing insecurities. They pay attention to the areas where you already feel vulnerable, then subtly poke at those wounds. If you're insecure about your appearance, they'll make comments about how natural you look without makeup, implying you need it. If you worry about your intelligence, they'll use complex jargon around you, then explain it as if you wouldn't possibly understand. The most insidious part is how they create dependency. As they chip away at your confidence, they simultaneously position themselves as the person who can help you improve. They become your guide, your advisor, your seemingly indispensable source of validation. You start relying on their opinion about everything because you no longer trust your own judgment. This creates a toxic cycle where the very person destroying your confidence becomes the person you turn to for confidence, trapping you in a web of manipulation. The warning signs are subtle but consistent. Interactions with this person leave you feeling uncertain about yourself. You start second-guessing decisions you felt good about, and you find yourself asking for their approval more often. You might even notice you've stopped pursuing goals that once excited you. This is the systematic dismantling of your self-belief, leaving you vulnerable, easily controlled, and unable to tap into your true potential. Chapter 4. The Opportunity Blocker, Shutting Doors to Your Future. Imagine standing at the threshold of a promising future, a door gleaming with possibility, only to find it inexplicably closed again and again, just as you reach for the handle. This, my friends, is the frustrating and often devastating work of the opportunity blocker. These individuals operate in the shadows of your professional and personal life, working like silent assassins who kill your chances before you even know they existed. They don't confront you directly or announce their malicious intentions. Instead, they position themselves as gatekeepers, influencers, or trusted advisors who quietly ensure that doors remain closed to you, while, paradoxically, they might open wide for others. Here's what makes this tactic so devastatingly effective. Opportunity blockers often hold positions of influence or have connections that you desperately need to succeed. They might be your manager, a board member, a well-connected colleague, or even a family member with significant industry ties. They'll smile to your face, express superficial support for your goals, and even offer empty promises of help, all while actively working behind the scenes to make sure you never achieve them. Their method is rarely overt sabotage, but rather subtle interference, plausible deniability, and the strategic withholding of information or access. The professional sabotage often begins with subtle, seemingly innocuous interference. When you apply for a promotion that perfectly aligns with your skills, they'll have a quiet, confidential conversation with the hiring manager, expressing concerns regarding your readiness or suggesting that you might need more experience, even if your qualifications are stellar. They won't lie outright. They'll just plant seeds of doubt using carefully chosen words that sound objective and fair. When you're trying to close a crucial business deal, they might reach out to the potential client, not to badmouth you directly, but to share insights about the challenges in your industry, or to subtly question your company's long-term stability or your personal reliability, thereby eroding trust. Consider the perplexing case of Mr. Lee, a highly experienced architect. He was consistently overlooked for lead project roles, despite his impressive portfolio and dedication. He later discovered that a senior partner, whom he'd once mildly disagreed with, had been subtly undermining him. This partner would suggest during internal meetings that Mr. Lee, while talented, might not have the leadership gravitas for larger, more complex projects, or that he tended to get too bogged down in details. These comments, never directly critical, slowly built a perception that Mr. Lee was capable but not leadership material, effectively blocking his ascent to the most coveted roles. The opportunity blocker is also adept at stealing credit for your hard work, while ensuring you get blamed for anything that goes wrong. They'll present your brilliant ideas as their own in meetings you're conveniently not invited to. They'll take your painstakingly researched data and incorporate it into their own presentations without attribution, subtly diminishing your contribution. When projects succeed, they'll make sure their role is highlighted and yours is minimized or forgotten entirely. Conversely, if a project faces challenges, they'll deftly shift blame onto you, using your genuine efforts as proof of your shortcomings. They are experts at creating artificial barriers that don't seem to exist for other people. They'll tell you that certain coveted positions require obscure qualifications you don't possess, while simultaneously helping less qualified candidates obtain those very same positions. They'll insist that you need to follow lengthy, convoluted protocols or wait for the right time for a promotion or new venture, while others are fast-tracked through the same processes, their paths inexplicably cleared. The networking sabotage is particularly cruel. They'll attend industry events and social gatherings where they systematically poison your reputation among key contacts. They'll share carefully curated stories about your supposed mistakes or limitations with people who could profoundly advance your career. They'll make sure that influential figures in your field develop negative, preconceived impressions of you before you even have a chance to meet them and make your own case. What's most heartbreaking is how they exploit your trust and vulnerability. When you share your dreams and goals with them, they're not celebrating your ambition. They're gathering intelligence about what matters most to you so they can destroy it more effectively. They'll learn about your biggest opportunities and then work meticulously to sabotage them. They'll discover your most important professional relationships and then systematically poison them. The blocking doesn't just happen in obvious, direct ways. They'll subtly schedule important meetings when they know you can't attend, ensuring your voice isn't heard. They'll forget to pass along crucial information that could help you succeed. They might even recommend you for projects that are set up to fail, then use those predictable failures as evidence that you're not ready for bigger opportunities. They also use their influence to ensure you're excluded from important informal conversations and strategic decisions. They'll have discussions about your future without including you, make recommendations about your career path that serve their interests rather than yours, and participate in performance reviews where they subtly undermine your prospects. The emotional manipulation inherent in this tactic is just as damaging as the professional sabotage. They'll make you feel grateful for small, insignificant opportunities while denying you the major ones you truly deserve. They'll act like they're doing you favors when, in reality, they're actively limiting your potential. They'll express disappointment in your performance while actively ensuring you can't perform at your best. The warning signs include opportunities that seem perfect for you suddenly becoming unavailable without clear explanations, or a vague sense that something or someone is consistently holding you back. You might notice that people in your network start treating you differently after interacting with this blocker. You might find that your ideas are being implemented by others without your involvement, or that you're consistently overlooked for opportunities that perfectly match your qualifications. This is the systematic destruction of your future by blocking your access to the very opportunities that could transform your life. They know that without opportunity, talent and hard work can become meaningless. They understand that controlling your access to advancement is one of the most effective ways to keep you powerless and dependent. Chapter 5. The Energy Vampire. Draining your vital life force. Now, I need you to take a moment and deeply reflect. Think about the people in your life who, after spending time with them, consistently leave you feeling drained, exhausted, or emotionally depleted. Think about those individuals who always seem to need something from you, who turn every conversation into an urgent crisis, who make you feel solely responsible for their problems and their tumultuous emotions. Consider how these interactions impact your ability to focus on your own goals, your own happiness, your own quiet peace of mind. This, my friends, is the hallmark of the energy vampire, representing perhaps the most insidious form of personal destruction because they don't attack you directly. They slowly drain the very life force that powers everything else in your world. These individuals feed off your mental and emotional energy like parasites, leaving you too weak, too exhausted, and too overwhelmed to defend yourself against their other subtle attacks, or even to pursue your own dreams and ambitions. They are masters of manufactured drama. They possess an uncanny ability to transform normal situations into urgent crises, minor inconveniences into full-blown emergencies, and everyday challenges into catastrophic disasters. They'll call you at midnight, breathless with a panic attack, about a work presentation they've had weeks to prepare for. They'll demand hours of your time to discuss their convoluted relationship problems, only to ignore every piece of wise advice you offer and then create the exact same problems again next week. They'll turn simple decisions into complex, emotionally charged battles that require your constant input, validation, and support. What makes this particularly devastating is how cunningly they disguise their manipulation as genuine need, profound vulnerability, or even a deep bond. They'll utter phrases designed to hook your empathy and sense of responsibility. "I don't know what I'd do without you," or "You're the only one who really understands me." They make you feel incredibly special and important, while simultaneously and subtly making you feel entirely responsible for their emotional well-being. This creates a deeply unhealthy sense of dependency. They become addicted to your attention and energy, while you, unknowingly, become addicted to the feeling of being needed and valuable, even at your own expense. Consider the story of Michael, a kind and patient man with a friend named Alex. Alex would call Michael every single day, sometimes multiple times, with a new crisis or problem. Alex would spend hours describing his workplace drama, his convoluted family issues, his turbulent relationship troubles, and his perpetual financial stress. Michael would listen patiently, offer thoughtful advice, and provide unwavering emotional support. But Michael slowly realized that Alex never seemed to actually solve any of his problems. Instead, the crises would multiply and intensify, each demanding more of Michael's time and emotional reserves. Meanwhile, Michael started falling behind on his own work projects, neglecting his own relationships, and feeling constantly stressed, overwhelmed, and perpetually exhausted. His own life was slowly being derailed by the relentless demands of another. The energy vampire monopolizes your time and attention through carefully crafted emergencies. They'll text you constantly throughout the day with breathless updates about their latest catastrophe. They'll call you precisely when you're trying to focus on important work, or show up at your door unexpectedly when you're trying to relax or spend precious time with your family. They are masterful at making their needs feel urgent and supremely important, while subtly making your own needs and boundaries feel selfish and unimportant. They are experts at emotional manipulation and guilt. When you, out of sheer self-preservation, try to set boundaries or limit your availability, they'll employ a powerful guilt trip, making you feel cruel and heartless. They'll utter phrases designed to sting, "I thought I could count on you," or "I guess I'll have to figure this out completely on my own then, even though I'm falling apart." They'll weaponize their pain and struggle, using it to break down your defenses and force you to give them what they want: your precious time, energy, and emotional bandwidth. The concept of trauma bonding is particularly dangerous here. They create intense emotional experiences, shared crises, moments of profound vulnerability, where they reveal their darkest secrets that feel like deep connection and intimacy. They make you feel like you are the only person who truly knows them, the only one they can trust. This creates a powerful psychological bond that is incredibly difficult to break, even when you intellectually realize how toxic and draining the relationship has become. Think about how this pattern might show up in your own life. Do you have people who consistently bring you their problems, but never seem genuinely interested in hearing about yours? Do you find yourself constantly worried about someone else's well-being while neglecting your own? Do you feel an irrational guilt when you don't immediately respond to someone's calls or messages? Do you find yourself making endless excuses for someone's draining behavior while feeling increasingly resentful and utterly exhausted? The energy vampire also subtly sabotages your other relationships and your personal goals by monopolizing your time and emotional resources. They'll create crises that demand your attention during important family events. They'll demand your support during times when you desperately need to focus on your own challenges. They'll make you feel guilty for spending time with other people or pursuing your own interests, subtly isolating you. Ultimately, they prevent you from achieving your goals by keeping you in a constant state of emotional and mental exhaustion. When you're always dealing with their drama and crisis, you don't have the mental energy or focus to invest in your own projects, ambitions, or well-being. This is the systematic way people drain your energy and resources until you're too weak to protect yourself or pursue your dreams. They know that exhausted people make poor decisions, set weak boundaries, and accept treatment they would never tolerate when they are strong, clear-headed, and energized. Chapter 6. The Dream Decimator, Crushing Your Aspirations. Imagine carefully tending to the tender shoots of your most cherished dreams. A new business venture, a creative project, a significant personal change, nurturing them with optimism and effort. Then, day after day, someone subtly, almost imperceptibly, tramples them underfoot. This is the insidious work of the dream decimator. They don't necessarily attack you directly, nor do they often resort to overt insults. Instead, their strategy is to erode your motivation, to poison your vision, and to make your aspirations seem foolish, unattainable, or simply not worth the immense effort required. They are masters of discouragement disguised as realism, tough love, or just being practical. Their methods are varied, but always aimed at stifling your ambition. They might constantly point out potential pitfalls and obstacles, not to help you prepare or strategize, but solely to instill fear, hesitation, and a pervasive sense of futility. Are you sure that's a good idea? You know, most people who try something like that ultimately fail. They might intone, their voice dripping with false concern. They'll minimize your excitement, dismiss your grand plans with a dismissive wave of the hand, or recount endless stories of others who attempted similar feats and failed spectacularly, subtly implying that your fate will be no different. They might even subtly mock your ambition, cloaking their derision in humor, making you feel foolish or naive for daring to dream beyond the mundane. Oh, still chasing those wild ideas, are we? They might chuckle, leaving you feeling small and exposed. Their insidious goal is clear: to convince you that your efforts are futile, that your goals are inherently beyond your reach, or that you simply aren't capable of achieving anything truly significant. This continuous drip-by-drip erosion of your optimism and drive eventually leaves you paralyzed, afraid to act, and subtly coerced into resigning yourself to a smaller, less fulfilling life than you truly deserve. You might start internalizing their negativity, believing their bleak assessment of your capabilities, and abandoning projects that once filled you with passion. This isn't just about losing a specific dream, it's about losing your capacity to dream at all, to envision a better future for yourself. Think of Sarah, who always harbored a dream of starting a small, ethical online business. Her sibling, deeply insecure about their own unfulfilled ambitions, would constantly interject whenever Sarah spoke of her plans. Do you realize how many online businesses fail? It's a saturated market. You'll be working 80 hours a week for pennies. Is it really worth it? Remember how stressed you were with that last project? This will be 10 times worse. These comments, always framed as looking out for her, slowly drained Sarah's enthusiasm. She found herself procrastinating, becoming overwhelmed by hypothetical problems, and eventually the dream withered, replaced by a quiet sense of resignation. The dream decimator often feeds on your past setbacks, using them as eternal evidence of your future limitations. Remember that time you tried X and it didn't work out? They'll bring up ensuring any new ambition is overshadowed by old failures. They exploit your natural self-doubt, twisting it into a paralyzing fear of action. They may even actively discourage you from seeking advice or support from others who might actually encourage you, subtly suggesting that only they have your true best interests at heart, and that their realism is superior to anyone else's optimism. This tactic is particularly dangerous because it doesn't just stop at individual projects. It can infect your entire approach to life. You might become hesitant to pursue new hobbies, afraid to take risks in your career, or even reluctant to voice your opinions, fearing they'll be dismissed or ridiculed. The Stoics understood the immense power of inner resolve and the importance of cultivating a strong will. The dream decimator seeks to break this very resolve, to extinguish the spark of ambition within you, leaving you resigned to a life that is a shadow of what it could be. Protecting your dreams requires not just effort, but a resolute shield against the quiet, insidious voices of discouragement. Chapter 7. The Value Underminer. Devaluing your core principles. Consider your deeply held values, your commitment to integrity, your unwavering kindness, your dedication to hard work, your authenticity, your sense of justice, as the unwavering compass that guides your life. These are the principles that define you, that anchor your decisions, and that provide a profound sense of meaning and purpose. The value underminer seeks to subtly corrupt or devalue this compass, encouraging you to compromise your principles or questioning the very worth of your moral convictions. They don't directly tell you to abandon your values, which would be too stark and immediately rejected. Instead, they chip away at them through insidious suggestions, manipulative comparisons, and a pervasive normalization of ethical shortcuts. They might subtly encourage you to take ethical shortcuts for personal gain, framing it as being smart or practical in a competitive world. "Oh, come on, everyone bends the rules a little," they might say with a wink. "What's the big deal? You're just being too rigid." They might make light of your commitment to honesty, suggesting that complete transparency is naive or even foolish in certain situations. They could belittle your acts of compassion, perhaps implying you're being overly sentimental or weak for caring so much about others' struggles. They might subtly ridicule your strong work ethic, suggesting you're a sucker for putting in extra effort when others are doing the bare minimum. The value underminer often creates scenarios where upholding your values seems inconvenient, disadvantageous, or even detrimental to your own success or happiness, subtly pushing you towards moral compromise. For instance, if you refuse to participate in office gossip out of respect for privacy, they might suggest you're not a team player or too high and mighty. If you refuse to take credit for someone else's work, they might imply you're missing out on opportunities by being too honest. They work to shift your perspective, making your deeply held principles seem like liabilities rather than strengths. Over time, exposed to this constant subtle pressure, you might find yourself questioning the very principles that define you. You might wonder if your integrity is truly a strength or a weakness in a world that seems to reward cunning. This leads to internal conflict, a gnawing sense of unease, and a profound dissonance between who you aspire to be and the compromises you might be subtly encouraged to make. This undermines your self-respect, your peace of mind, and your fundamental sense of purpose, leaving you feeling adrift, untethered from your own moral compass. When your values are blurred, your decision-making becomes clouded, and your authentic self begins to erode. Consider the story of a young entrepreneur, David, who was fiercely committed to ethical sourcing and fair labor practices. An experienced mentor, whom David deeply respected, would often tell him, "David, that's admirable, but you'll never scale if you're so rigid. Sometimes you have to make compromises to survive in business. No one's perfect." The mentor would introduce David to suppliers with questionable labor practices, subtly pushing him to overlook his principles for a better profit margin. While never directly ordering him to compromise, the constant subtle pressure and normalization of these practices slowly began to chip away at David's resolve. He started rationalizing small compromises, feeling a growing discomfort, but unsure how to articulate it against the wisdom of his mentor. The value underminer often preys on your desire for acceptance or success, implying that your values are holding you back from achieving what you desire. They might use peer pressure or the perceived reality of the world to convince you that your moral standards are simply impractical. Maintaining your integrity, even in the face of subtle pressure and perceived inconvenience, is a core Stoic virtue. The Stoics understood that true wealth lies in virtue, and that compromising one's principles for external gains is a fool's bargain. The value underminer seeks to convince you otherwise, leading you away from your authentic self and into a life of quiet regret. Recognizing this subtle attack is paramount to safeguarding your soul. Chapter 8. The Joy Thief. Stealing your moments of happiness. Think of the moments of pure, unadulterated joy in your life. A hard-earned promotion, a significant personal triumph, a peaceful afternoon spent with loved ones, or the sheer delight of a simple, beautiful sunset. These are the precious treasures of existence, the vital moments that fill your spirit and make life worth living. The joy thief is present in these moments not to celebrate with you, but to subtly diminish your happiness, to cast a pall over your light, and to drain the vibrant color from your experiences. They are experts at finding the dark cloud in every silver lining, the minute flaw in every perfection, and the hidden worry in every celebration. When you eagerly share good news with a joy thief, their response is rarely one of genuine, unreserved enthusiasm. Instead, they might respond with a deflating "yes, but," followed by a negative observation, a cautionary tale, or a subtle redirection to their own woes. "That's great you got the promotion, but now you'll have so much more stress, won't you? And all those late nights." Or if you share excitement about an upcoming vacation, they might sigh and say, "Your trip sounds wonderful, but aren't you worried about all the work piling up while you're gone? And the travel delays are always a nightmare these days." They might even subtly shift the focus to themselves, making your moment of triumph about their own problems, their own perceived lack, or their own mundane achievements, effectively stealing the spotlight and the warmth of the moment. The joy thief may also subtly imply that your happiness is undeserved, fleeting, or that something bad is surely destined to follow your good fortune. "Don't get too excited, you know how quickly things can change," they might caution, with a feigned air of wisdom. Their goal is not just to prevent your joy, but to actively steal it, replacing it with worry, self-doubt, or a pervasive sense of unworthiness. They want to prevent you from fully immersing yourself in positive emotions, ensuring that your moments of delight are always tinged with anxiety or a sense of impending doom. This constant dampening of your positive emotions leaves you feeling deflated, hesitant to celebrate, and ultimately robbed of the very essence of a fulfilling and vibrant life. You might find yourself suppressing your excitement, not wanting to share good news for fear it will be diminished or criticized. Consider the story of Maria, who finally achieved her lifelong dream of publishing a novel. When she excitedly shared the news with her longtime friend, the friend's immediate response was, "That's nice, but is it actually going to make you any money? The publishing world is so tough now, most authors never break even." Later, when Maria celebrated a positive review, the friend remarked, "Well, it's just one review. You know how fickle readers can be." Oh, this relentless stream of negativity, disguised as realism, slowly eroded Maria's joy in her accomplishment, leaving her feeling hollow instead of triumphant. The joy thief often operates from a place of deep envy or personal unhappiness. They cannot tolerate seeing others genuinely happy because it highlights their own internal emptiness or perceived failures. Instead of addressing their own issues, they project their negativity onto others, attempting to drag down anyone who dares to shine too brightly. They might use humor to disguise their negativity, making jokes that subtly undermine your achievements or enthusiasm. They create an atmosphere where celebrating success feels uncomfortable or even wrong. This tactic is particularly insidious because it affects your very ability to experience positive emotions. When you are constantly anticipating a negative response, You naturally temper your own excitement. You learn to brace yourself for the inevitable and eventually, you might stop seeking joy altogether, preferring the safety of emotional neutrality. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. The joy thief seeks to corrupt those very thoughts, to infiltrate your inner sanctuary of contentment and replace it with cynicism and dread. Recognizing these subtle attempts to steal your happiness is crucial for protecting your inner light and preserving your capacity for genuine, unadulterated joy. Guard your moments of happiness fiercely, for they are truly priceless, the unbreakable shield, reclaiming your inner citadel. So we have walked together through the labyrinth of these 8 insidious tactics. You've seen the subtle smiles of the reputation assassin, felt the chilling distance created by the relationship saboteur, understood the insidious erosion of the confidence crusher. We've illuminated the invisible walls erected by the opportunity blocker, felt the draining exhaustion wrought by the energy vampire, witnessed the subtle crushing of hopes by the dream decimator, observed the quiet corruption from the value underminer, and recognized the stealthy theft of joy by the joy thief. The gravity of these behaviors, the profound impact they can have on a life, is undeniable. You've seen how they operate, how they target your most precious assets, and how subtly they can weave their destructive narratives into the fabric of your reality. But here is the pivotal insight, the Stoic turning point, the very core of this entire discussion. You are not a passive victim in this drama. Your life is not a stage upon which others can simply act out their malice, leaving you powerless. The power to truly ruin you does not lie solely with those who seek to harm. It lies ultimately in your response, your awareness, and your unwavering commitment to your inner fortress. Imagine a visual of a grand, ancient citadel, its walls strong and impenetrable, standing majestically against a stormy sky, yet within its walls, there is serene calm. The Stoics, those ancient masters of resilience, understood this truth with profound clarity. They taught us that external events, the insults, the betrayals, the blockades, the draining demands, are, in themselves, indifferent. They are neither inherently good nor inherently bad. It is our judgment, our interpretation, our reaction to these external circumstances that gives them their power, that allows them to either wound us or to be deflected harmlessly. While we cannot control others from attempting to throw stones, we absolutely can choose not to be shattered by them. We can choose how those stones land, whether they penetrate our defenses or simply bounce off, leaving our inner calm undisturbed. This is not about fighting fire with fire, engaging in retaliatory battles that only consume your own precious energy. That is precisely what the destructive individual desires, to drag you into their chaos, to make you reactive and fragmented. No, this is about something far more powerful, far more liberating. It is about becoming the unshakable rock amidst the storm, recognizing that their attempts to ruin you are, at their root, a desperate reflection of their own internal disquiet, their own insecurities, their own lack, not a true measure of your worth or your capabilities. Their actions are about them, not about you. This is the moment of reclaiming your power. The knowledge you have gained in this video is not just information. It is a shield of discernment, a tool for empowerment. It equips you to see through the masks, to hear the subtle discord in their words, to anticipate their moves before they can inflict deep wounds. With this awareness, you gain the profound ability to detach emotionally from their machinations. You can observe their attempts to undermine you with a calm, almost philosophical detachment, understanding their patterns without allowing their venom to infect your spirit. Your inner citadel, your mind, your values, your self-respect, your peace, is the only thing truly within your absolute control. and it is the only thing that ultimately matters. When others try to diminish your reputation, you can quietly strengthen your integrity through your actions. When they try to poison your relationships, you can deepen your authentic connections with those who truly uplift you. When they try to crush your confidence, you can reinforce your self-belief through rigorous self-assessment and consistent self-improvement, not dependent on their validation. When they block your opportunities, you can seek alternative paths, trusting in your own resourcefulness and determination. When they try to drain your energy, you can set boundaries with unwavering resolve, protecting your vital resources. When they try to decimate your dreams, you can hold fast to your vision, knowing that perseverance is its own reward. When they undermine your values, you can reaffirm your principles with unwavering conviction. And when they try to steal your joy, you can cultivate an inner wellspring of contentment that is impervious to their negativity. This is the key moment of awakening. You now possess the clarity to act not out of fear or anger, but out of reason and self-preservation. You are no longer stumbling blindly in the dark. You are equipped to fortify your inner defenses, to cultivate a mindset that is impervious to their poison, and to live a life guided by your own virtues, irrespective of the external machinations of others. This profound understanding allows you to maintain your serenity, your integrity, and your path towards a truly flourishing life, no matter what storms others may try to conjure. Conclusion: we have journeyed through a landscape often hidden in plain sight, unveiling the 8 distinct faces of destruction: the reputation assassin, the relationship saboteur, the confidence crusher, the opportunity blocker, the energy vampire, the dream decimator, the value underminer, and the joy thief. Each operates with a distinct strategy, employing subtle and insidious methods, yet their ultimate goal remains chillingly consistent: to dismantle your life, piece by precious piece, leaving you disempowered, isolated, and diminished. But now, my friends, you are no longer in the dark. You are armed. You possess the knowledge to identify their subtle maneuvers, to recognize the quiet whispers before they become a roar, to see through the masks of false concern and well-intentioned advice. You understand their insidious aims and the devastating impact they seek to inflict. And with this understanding comes profound power. This is not a power to retaliate or to engage in their toxic games, but a far greater power: the power of self-protection, self-preservation, and unshakable inner peace. Remember the core tenets of Stoicism, the very principles that have guided wise individuals for centuries through life's most tumultuous periods: discernment, the profound ability to clearly separate what is truly within your control from what is emphatically not. You cannot control the actions or intentions of others, but you absolutely can control your reactions, your judgments, and your boundaries. Courage, the inner fortitude to face unpleasant truths, to acknowledge the presence of destructive forces, and to set firm, unwavering boundaries, even when it feels uncomfortable or difficult. Wisdom, the profound insight to understand that their actions speak volumes about their character, their insecurities, their own inner turmoil, not about your inherent worth or capabilities. Their venom is a reflection of their state, not yours. Justice, the quiet, resolute act of protecting your own well-being, your peace of mind, and your aspirations, refusing to allow yourself to be a pawn in their destructive games. It is a just act to preserve your own flourishing, your peace, your integrity, your unique journey through life. These are within your dominion. They are your most sacred possessions. By applying the wisdom we've discussed today, you can fortify your spirit, allowing you to walk through life with an unburdened mind, a resolute heart, and a quiet sense of inner triumph, knowing that you are the true master of your fate, impervious to the machinations of others. This knowledge we've shared today is a shield, my friends, but a shield is only effective when it is actively wielded. Your path forward, your very well-being, and your journey towards a more resilient and peaceful life depend on the choices you make starting now. Here is your call to action, rooted deeply in Stoic principles to empower you beyond this moment. Document and discern. Begin keeping a dispassionate record of suspicious behaviors, of subtle words, of unsettling incidents, not for vengeance, but for clarity and evidence. Screenshot those manipulative messages. Write down the details of concerning interactions. Build a factual understanding of what these people are doing. This objective documentation becomes your shield and your quiet weapon, allowing you to see patterns and detach from emotional reactions. Set and guard boundaries. This is the sacred perimeter of your inner citadel. Identify where your precious energy is being drained, where your core values are being challenged, where your confidence is being subtly chipped away. With calm resolve and unwavering firmness, establish clear, healthy boundaries. Learn to say no without guilt or explanation when your peace is threatened. Cutting toxic people out of your life isn't cruel. It's a necessary act of self-preservation and a testament to your own worth. Cultivate your inner circle. Consciously and intentionally surround yourself with genuinely trustworthy people who truly have your best interests at heart. Individuals who embody virtue, kindness, integrity, authentic support. Nurture these relationships deeply. These are your true allies, your sounding board, your source of genuine connection and upliftment. Create a circle of protection around yourself, with people who will celebrate your victories and defend you when you're not there to defend yourself. Strengthen your mind. Engage in practices that consistently fortify your mental resilience. Daily reflection, moments of mindful awareness, a conscious observation of your thoughts. Question the negative narratives others try to impose upon you. Reclaim your self-belief. Understanding with profound certainty that your worth is intrinsic, an inherent truth that is not dependent on anyone else's fleeting validation or opinion. The journey to an unshakable mind, to profound peace, and to a life of authentic happiness is continuous. If you found value in today's insights, know that there is so much more wisdom awaiting you on the Stoic Philosophy YouTube channel. We are dedicated to providing you with the timeless tools to navigate life's challenges with strength and serenity. So don't miss another opportunity to fortify your spirit. Subscribe to the Stoic Philosophy channel now to ensure you don't miss our upcoming videos, each designed to help you cultivate a stronger, more peaceful, and happier mind. Thank you for dedicating your valuable time to this crucial conversation. May your path be filled with clarity, courage, and an unshakable inner peace. We wish you all the very best on your journey.